Coach, I know you. It's well documented that Virginia plays a slow, deliberate game, but y'all aren't that much further up on the pace table. How does that equate to how y'all want this game to go and how y'all see the way y'all play offense?
Yes, sir. They're it's beautiful basketball to watch them on both sides of the floor. It's circa 1982 when I was trying to figure out as a young kid, did I want to coach or what was coaching? I have the utmost respect for Coach, who he is as a person, and obviously the success he's had. He's a national championship coach. They've won 86% of their games since he's been there as a head coach in their arena. I think some of the pace of play for us, Travis, is what we do in the front of our defense. And so it's not exclusively our pace of offense per se, but we're going to limit the number of possessions because of what we do in the front of a defensive possession. They're going to play half-court man. They're going to play the best pack line defense of all time. And then offensively, they're going to run blocker mover, motion offense. And statistically speaking, they're going to score more points at the end of the clock than they do at the front. So I don't necessarily think it's necessarily the pace, because to your point, when you prepare for Virginia, everybody knows what the pace is. It's what's transpiring in that pace and how difficult it is to get a good shot against them because of their pack line. And then the discipline, patience, and execution that they play with offensively. It's the combination of the two, in my opinion, that's led to such high level of success for them.
And then a place that you've had a lot of history in. Is it?
Yeah, this is like, all of this is weird to me. I'm thankful that we didn't play Virginia Tech, they weren't in our bracket in Disney World. And I was kind of excited about that. I think I probably found out a few days maybe before you did. But then I found out about the ACC SEC challenge maybe a few days after that, and I would say I found out at the same time you did. And it was like, well, Virginia Tech wasn't in our bracket in Disney World, but we're still going to Charlottesville. So we played them 10 times. They've beat us nearly every single time. Really, really, really good players, and the most sound fundamental system that they will not betray not one possession on either side of the ball. And I would say it's going to be a 58 possession game, which will be the slowest game we will have played since we've lived here. And I've tried as best I could in words and a little bit in practice today to recreate what that experience is going to be for our guys. A lot of times when you think slow in the SEC, you think Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt runs so many plays. They're not going to run a play. They're going to run blocker mover until they get the exact shot that they want. And they're more comfortable and execute at a higher rate later in the clock than they do earlier in the clock. And there's a little bit, I think, they prey on your anxiousness of wanting to hurry up and get the ball, and they become more comfortable towards the end of the clock. And so when you do unsound things late in the clock, they shoot 75%. And if it trends towards that mistake, I just want to go back to the way it normally is offensively, and you're unpredictable in what you do, then you're down 12 real fast, and that's like being down 32 because the game is so slow. What I told our guys today, if you take 100-question test, what is the value of each question? It's 1. That's right. If you take a 50-question test, what's the value of each question? It's 2. If you take a 25-question test, what's the value? It's 4. Okay, every possession is going to be a 25-question test tomorrow. And we're used to 100-question tests most of the time in the SEC. Play Iowa State, third game in 4 days. It's a 75 to 50-question test. Tomorrow night, it's a 25-question test. So when you screw up, 1 turnover is not 1. 1 turnover is 4. When you give them an offensive rebound, that's not 1 offensive rebound, that's 4.
Was Sunday's win about as impressive as you've seen the comeback since you've been here with this team?
That's what I told the team. I told my wife that before I told the team as we were walking off. I told before the game was over. And I told Rock that in the locker room before I talked to the team. I think it says a lot about the character of our guys. And I think it says a lot about the preparation of our staff amidst all of the things that had transpired in a game. We started the tournament. We were the first game in the tournament, and then we were the last game in the tournament. And a lot of different things happened that changed the variables that we are used to competing with. And I thought that there were so many things that we will always remember about that game. And obviously we're thankful for the result. But there were 5 or 6 guys that had to be their absolute best ever at this level. But they all had to be their best ever on the same night. And that's, even though we were down 21, to outscore them 25 over the last, whatever that was, 23 minutes. They had to be their best, and they were.
Now, Buzz, I know y'all expected to be really good this year. But my question is it at all amazing to you that you're going here in November and looking for already a 7th win when you consider the caliber of competition, the amount of games in the small space, and then some of the personnel issues?
It's been a lot. And I guess we kind of knew that because of what November was going to be. I think when you have to live it, I don't know that you can articulate it any better. But when you get home at 3 o'clock in the morning and you've been there for 6 days, and you have to try to explain what we're about to go to because we're leaving in 32 hours, that's hard. And that's not hard on Texas A&M. That would be hard on anybody. I don't know. I understand statistically the level of competition and the value of those games. I do understand that. Playing 6 out of your first 8 in the first month of the season not at home, I get the value of those games, but what I didn't probably take into account was the missed reps, not in games at home, but the missed reps of work at home. And I think that that's a little foolish on my part. You know, just like today. Hey, let's practice. Well, what'd y'all do yesterday? We didn't do anything. We got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we were in the film room, but we didn't practice. And so I think when you're constantly coming and going, I know how cool it seems that we're playing another quad 1 game on the road, but you're not accumulating the reps of the work at home that you want or that you typically get. Not only for November, you're missing those reps that are going to lead to January and February too. And so obviously we've never done it before and we're learning a lot of lessons through it, but the competitive chemistry and synergy that our guys are playing with has been superb.
Coach, can you talk about the players coming off the bench, just them being able to basically step in and perform when their number's called?
Yeah, I thought Solo and Jace were outstanding as starters. Wilden's had his best game, even though he is a starter. He played more minutes. I guess to some degree, all of those guys played played more minutes. I thought Eli, he had 3 defensive rebounds and 2 charges while in Orlando. He's never done that in any city he's ever been in. There were a lot of good things. Mo made big plays for us in every game. So you learn some of that in the trial by fire. When there's no other choice, hey, here's your chance, and that's what you want as a competitor. And I thought that many of those guys were really, really good in that particular role.
Do you have an update on Henry Boots?